Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Month of Trauma here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a movie from 2012. That movie is Father's Day. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, this thing here is a movie a lot of people have asked me to cover. And I don't know anything about it except what's written on the back. I actually just read that, and the plot sounds interesting. It sounds kind of fucked up and stupid. The only thing I can really pick up out of all this is this movie is a love letter to old school grindhouse films. And I have seen that go both positive and negative, because I've seen stuff like Planet Terror, Death Proof, and Hobo with a Shotgun. All of those are amazing films. But then I've seen stuff like Nude Nuns with Big Guns, and Machete, and Bitch Slap, and all of a sudden I know that these sorts of movies can go horribly, horribly wrong. I don't know which way Father's Day is going to skew on that. I'm certainly hoping that I can lump it in with the good ones. I'm certainly hoping I can lump it in there with stuff such as Death Proof and Planet Terror and Hobo with a Shotgun. But the only way, guys, I'm going to find out if this thing is any good at all is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Father's Day. You know, guys, I am just a little bit stunned at the fact that our villain in this film is known as the Fuchman. I am not joking you, because they have already said his name at least 3 times. The Fuchman. Wow. That, guys, is sort of like equal fucking parts lazy and stupid. And the film itself has been kind of dumb up to this point. I do certainly hope that it gets better, but good, the Fuchman. God damn it. You know, guys, I can totally see that this movie is trying to be funny. I can totally see that. It would be really nice, though, if the movie could actually be funny. Can our writer, please, for the love of God, give me at least one good joke that isn't mired under mountains of god-awful, horrendous, overly forced dialogue? Can I please get one character who's in the slightest way likable? This movie's only been on, guys, for almost a half an hour. I've yet to get anything of interest except for a whole lot of horrendous misfires that are trying to pass themselves off as jokes. And if the next hour is going to be like this, guys, it's going to suck. Okay, I totally know that this is going to be a stupid question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Why the hell does this stripper have a chainsaw in her fucking dressing, room? This here is the second time I have seen her grab it and wield it. I still don't know why the fuck she has it in the first place. And it's kind of starting to bother me a little. But it's actually going to bother me a little bit less because it looks like she's going to be dead real fucking soon. Yeah, and she dies at the hand of the chainsaw that she mysteriously has in her dressing room. Seriously, why the fuck did she have that in there? It's really kind of bugging me a bit. Seriously, guys, can I please get at least one line of dialogue in this fucking movie that actually is funny, that actually has some level of wit to it? Can I please get at least one joke in this film that is not an overly forced, terrible, horrendous misfire? This movie's got less than 40 minutes left. I am not asking for miracles here. I just want one good fucking joke. Can I please get that? Why the hell isn't this thing over yet? I swear, guys, this movie's getting worse with every passing scene. It is becoming a chore to watch this thing. I'm struggling to stay awake. The movie is that fucking dull. This sucks. And the sickest part, guys, about all this is I wanted to like this. I honestly thought that this thing would have had some level of a fucking chance. And it has failed me from the moment I pushed play up until now. God, this fucking blows. Okay, guys, and the movie has actually done something clever. They cast Lloyd Kaufman as God. Okay, that actually is sort of cool. It's really a pity that literally everything else in this goddamn movie has sucked massive throbbing dick. But at least Lloyd Kaufman as God is at least kind of funny. Thank fuck this movie's done. God damn it. Well, guys, that was Father's Day. Let's shut this turd off. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. I want to make this point abundantly clear before I launch into the proper review. I thought this was going to be a good movie. I even read the back. I read the summary on the back. It sounded like it was going to be a really goofy, funny, stupid film. And I mean stupid in like a, like fucking like so bad it's good kind of stupid. No, it's borderline retarded. There is nothing here in terms of wit. There's nothing here in terms of actual humor. This, guys, is a comedy that completely and totally fails at humor. The only thing that comes off as even the slightest bit witty is the fact that they cast Lloyd Kaufman as both God and the devil. And technically they're both the same character if the dialogue is anything to go by. That literally, guys, is the closest we ever get to wit is a casting choice. Oh, sweet God. And the problem with that one, guys, is that Lloyd Kaufman, bless him. I, guys, am a fan of Lloyd Kaufman, and I probably will be for my entire life. I have never heard the man sound that bored in his entire life. But that is acting. Let me try to wrap my head around the writing. Okay. I understand the movie was trying to... It was trying to, like, play up on the sort of awesomeness we saw in stuff like Planet Terror and Hobo with a Shotgun and Death Proof and even lesser films such as Nude Nuns with Big Guns, Machete, so on and so forth. I totally understand it was trying to harken back to the kinds of films that those other movies were trying to reference. But right here is the thing. And this even goes with the bad ones. This even falls under the category of stuff such as Nude Nuns with Big Guns and, like Bitch Slap and Machete. At least they tried. At least there was some level of effort put into the writing so that way it was at least kind of witty. It was kind of interesting. Granted, those movies were still shit, okay? There is nothing on this planet that is going to make me say that Bitch Slap and Nude Nuns with Big Guns were good films. But at least they tried. There's no effort here. None. Zero. Alright? Our villain is called Fuchman, for God's sake, and he's a fucking rape demon. Alright? Your fucking villain's a rape demon, you call him Fuchman. That is the least creative goddamn thing a human being could ever commit to paper. Okay? Any human being could have cooked up that in 2 seconds. And the talentless fuck who wrote this thought that was clever. No! That's not fucking clever. And that, guys, is the high point. That's the high point of this fucking writing, is the fact that our villain is a rape demon called Fuchman and that Lloyd Kaufman is God. That's it for writing that comes off in any way good. Everything else here, everything else in terms of writing is a misfire and a failure from start to finish. Guys, I was constantly reminded of something as I was watching this. There is a terrible fucking show that runs on Adult Swim, which is called Children's Hospital. It is a show that goes above and beyond any and all effort to suck all possible humor out of all of its dialogue by writing it as stiff and as unnatural as possible, and essentially attempting to explain the fucking joke as you're telling the joke. Behold 90 motherfucking minutes of that! There is not a single line of dialogue in here that has any level of wit, any level of class, any level of soul. There's nothing here. Our story sucks. Our characters are shallow and flat. There is nothing in this movie. There was one scene, not counting the whole fucking reveal of Lloyd Kaufman as God. That's still probably the closest thing this movie will ever get to interesting. But there is a scene that if you were to put it in the hands of anybody else, they could have actually made it fun. And it's when our three heroes are trying to go into hell so that they can stop the Fuchman from birthing the next generation of Fuchman, who is then going to be even more powerful than the one that was already here. And they're talking about exactly how they are going to go about doing this, and they start talking about methods of fucking suicide, and what order is everybody going to go in. You could have put that in the hands of anybody else, and you would have had a halfway decent fucking scene. But the worthless, talentless hacks who wrote this motherfucking thing sucked all possible joy and humor out of it by failing to say or do anything funny. There's nothing here. This, guys, is one of the worst things I've seen in terms of writing. My God, guys, I really had hopes for this thing. Especially when the blurbs on the back are saying that this thing is better than Death Proof, and it's better than Hobo with a Shotgun. To all the people over at Film School Rejects and Bloody Disgusting who said that ignorant pig shit so it can be put on the back of this case, fuck you all! You don't know shit about films. Jesus God. And all this, guys, is just with the writing. And the reason why I have to harp on the writing is because everything else is halfway decent. The problem is that when your writing is this fucking lifeless, and your writing is this absolutely god-awful and shit, it doesn't matter if the acting is halfway decent. It doesn't matter if the camera work is good. It doesn't matter if your sound mix is quality. It doesn't matter if your lighting's okay. None of that matters if your fucking writing is this worthless, this lifeless, this shitty. Guys, I could pull a better script out of a fucking septic tank. Alright, I seriously, guys, could just scoop up literal shit from a septic tank, sling it at paper, and I could then film whatever the hell is on there as a fucking script. It would be 10 times better than what I just saw here. Fuck this movie. Now, I know I still have to touch on everything else, and I'm going to. The acting. As much, guys, as I've harped on the writing and how horrible the writing is, you would almost think that the actors would have no hope at all of turning in a decent showing. And that, guys, is the part that blows my motherfucking mind more than anything else. The acting here is far better than it has any right to be. These actors, the entire cast, bless each and every one of them, they were trying. They wanted so badly to make this shitty film work. Unfortunately, when you're given a script this goddamned bad, no matter how much effort you put in, no matter how good a showing you have, it's not going to stop the fact that your movie sucks. My God, guys, I feel sorry for this entire cast. Everyone in this film shows that they know how to act. They actually show that they can even take a god-awful script and put in some kind of a worthy effort. Unfortunately, all of it's wasted on this film. Jesus shit. Mind you, guys, and the low point in the acting is Lloyd Kaufman, because he sounds bored as fuck in his 2 scenes in the film. Okay, so let's touch on everything else. Camera work here is really good. I do want to talk about film processing, though, because this movie was trying desperately to look like an old-school grindhouse film. And guess what? They actually made that much work, okay? And they were able to make it work really, really well. How? They were able to add tons and tons of film, grain. It would have been nice if the film grain would actually have, stuck around for the whole film instead of only being there for like the first 20 minutes and then never coming the fuck back. Excuse me. It would have been better if we would have seen more fucking, like cigarette burns instead of like the 2 or 3 we see here. That honestly was sort of a nice little like, classy, touch. The problem is if you're going to put cigarette burns in your film, you need to understand a reel of film is only about 20 minutes long. If your movie's 90 minutes long, it's going to be more than 3 motherfucking reels. Where the hell were the rest of the fucking cigarette burns? I can't believe I'm complaining about fake cigarette burns that were worked into a movie, but they didn't even put in the effort to at least make it look or feel kind of like natural in terms of how you make this shit look. All right, but still, that is fine. And I mean, because guys, at least they put the effort in. And granted, it could have been done better, but god damn it, at least they tried. So, color. I have to touch on color because once more, they were trying to make this thing look like a real old school, I'm talking like late 70s to early, 80s revenge action film. And they kind of wanted to show that by giving this thing some of the most oversaturated colors you will ever see. And it makes a whole lot of the shots look absolutely abysmally ugly. The thing is that I know that was what they were shooting for, and because of that, mission accomplished, okay? That's totally fine. Lighting here is awesome. Our sound mix is good. Our sound work in general is fine. Our soundtrack here is good. Special effects. I totally understand this movie was made on a very low budget. It was made on a budget of only $10,000, so I am going to let a lot of things slide. I am going to let the dodgy stop fucking motion slide. I'm gonna let the really poorly done chroma key slide. I am not going to let the CG blood slide, and I sure as fuck am not going to allow the CG muzzle flares to slide. Because guess what? If you honestly were able to even attempt at CG blood and CG lens flare, then god damn it, then your stop motion should have been better, and everything else in this film in terms of special effects should have been better. Because you wanted to cheap out on CG blood. You wanted to cheap out by using CG muzzle, flash instead of actual muzzle flare coming off of your gun. Because you wanted to cheap out on that, then there's no excuse for the rest of the effects to look the way that they do. You could have easily taken all of the time you put into trying to make your CG blood work. By the way, it fucking didn't. But still, you could have taken all of that effort. All right? And you could have put it towards making your stop motion look just a little bit better. Okay? You could have taken that and you could have made your very few suits look just slightly better. Which honestly, guys, is going to be real difficult because what is here for suit work is really good. And what's here for gore is really good. What is here, guys, for general special effects are fine. It's just that this thing wanted to fucking mock me. It seriously seemed to go out of its way to piss me off by taking the two things I cannot stand, which are CG blood and CG muzzle flash, and put both of them in here while fucking phoning in almost every other digital effect the film has. From stop motion shit to fucking chroma key. All of that, guys, is phoned in because they wanted to put more effort into the CG blood and the CG muzzle flash. Fuck you, Astron 6. The worthless team who made this shit is called Astron 6. Fuck every single person who's part of that goddamn group. I have watched this. If this honestly is the best you fuckers can cook up, I am not watching another one of your goddamn films. And I know that Troma's put a bunch of other ones on a single DVD. I'm not bothering with it because I watched this and I saw that you assholes don't fucking care. And if you don't care about making an interesting film, why the fuck should I care to watch your shitty films? Yes, guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Father's Day? No, there's no motherfucking way. This thing had an awesome premise. And if put in the hands of somebody who actually knew what the fuck they were doing, we could have had an awesome movie. We could have had a funny movie. Instead, it is mountains of wasted effort. It's every single person putting their absolute best effort in, except for the assholes who wrote and directed it. And fuck each and every one of them. Holy mother of God. And again, I wanted to like this thing, guys. And I really think that honestly is what's pissing me, I think that's what's pissing me off more than anything else, is the fact that this thing is that much of a goddamned letdown. Jesus, God, I wanted this fucker to be sitting in my Blu-ray collection. There is no hope of that. I am selling this son of a bitch the first chance I get because I don't want it in my house anymore. Now, Father's Day came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was, and I do have this written down, Aviv. And Aviv wants me to plug his group on Steam. Please, guys, by all means, swing over there. I'm going to provide a link for you. Go over there, check it out, and please possibly join it if you happen to like what's all going on over there. And dude, I thank you. I was curious about this. I really, really wanted to like it. A lot of people were telling me that this thing was probably one of the best films Troma had put out in years. No, it isn't. I will say this. I will say that compared to almost everything else I've done this month, with the one lone exception being Return to Nukem High Volume 1, this thing towers head and shoulders above almost everything else I've done this month. That still doesn't make it good. It still doesn't make it worth fucking watching. Fuck this movie. Oh, Jesus shit. You know what, guys? I just mentioned Return to Nukem High Volume 1. I'm going to go fucking watch that because I want to be reminded that Troma knows how to make good movies, and I just need to wash the taste of this garbage out of my fucking mouth. Good God. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.